Sup, TWOSUN? You know the deal. We gotta get it out of this box so we can check it in, so we can check it out. We can formulate an opinion. Okay. So this one's fairly new. Got my new opener knife, little 6-leaf, razor sharp. All right, a little bit of tapeage. So this is a TS426, and it's a 426 color because it's anodized, and it's oily. And I'll tell you, the first thought coming out of that box is this knife is smaller than I thought it was. I saw a picture of this knife on that box like that, and it looked like it was way bigger than the box. But in fact, this is like, I mean, right, looking at it this way, it looks like a medium-sized knife. Not a large knife by any means. But let's get all this oil off it so we can get after it. I kind of actually wanted the non-color version, because I've kind of stated this before. I'm not a super big fan of the anodizing, because it tends to, they have to polish it, or they choose to polish it. I'm not sure which, but it feels like it makes the knife slick. But wow. Wowie, wowie, wow, right? Is it me, or is that just not, that MICARTA is stunning, and the blue, the purples coming through on this thing. All right, gawking, bird watching. Let's see. Another quick wipe. We're going to wipe all this down again anyways, but I just kind of want to clear it for my hands to use. Really strong detent. I can sense that right away. Very strong detent. Yeah. And it's easy to lock yourself out on this knife. So it's got a strong detent, and it's easy to lock yourself out. So this is a Tepe design, and it's a TS426 in N690 steel, and this is number 30. Impressive. I got number 30. Yeah. I mean, here's what's up right now. I'm trying to assess whether I should lighten that detent slightly when I'm in there. Yeah, this knife is not near as large as I thought it was. Look at all the oil sprayed out here. I mean, yeah. All right. Well, let's get in it. Let's get it apart so we can clean it up. I'm going to think about that detent while we do this. The action's okay, but definitely strong on the detent side. Definitely strong. So single screw in the pocket clip, but it is recessed down into the titanium. Look at that clip, by the way. Man, It took some time to get that just the way they wanted it. All right. There's the clip. Do you hear that ring? Look at this. So the backspacer's internal in line with all of this. I mean, how many times have you said that? Why didn't they just connect here? I mean, okay. Nice. Big pivot. Got some racetrack washers going on here. Let's get them out. And a big slab of titanium with this micarta. Look at that. Yeah, I thought it did. Just laid down in there, and it's all just super oily. So yeah, we definitely wanted that out. Super light on the scale. Very light. Lots of oil in the micarta. Let's get this other racetrack out. It doesn't want to give it up, does it? Well, needed a little coaxing. What about this collar? That's titanium. That magnet's not going to help us. Come on now. There you go. Only because there's oil under it. So I do want to lighten this detent while I'm here. I got a hold of this, so I'm just going to take this this metal insert out, because it's also a over travel stop. I say I'm going to take it out, but it don't want to come out. Which these things, they machine them so tight that they tend to not want to come out of there once they put them in. And this is a prime example of that. That thing does not want to come out of there. But if I don't get it out, I won't be able to change this detent. Yeah, I'm not making any headway on it. Oh, maybe I did. A tiny little bit. Yeah, I mean, it started to move. It's just machined so tight. Wow. Wowie, wowie, wow. Wonder if I can get the finest of screwdriver blades. Because I have some pretty fine ones. And get it underneath there. And see if I can't pry that just ever so slightly. Because there is a little space that I've created. There, I got it. It didn't take much. Just getting at the right angle, the right spot. See, I've created a big gap in it now. And I really didn't pry on it much or anything. Let's try it from here. Yeah, just a balanced attack is what I gotta have. I mean, listen, this is a good thing because it just means that they've toleranced that really well. All right, so I'm gonna do this real quick. Where am I at? It looks like I'm lined up right on the edge of that cutaway. So I want to be just inside of that. There's a little cutaway right there. All right, so let's take a little bit out of that. That's a little bit right there. Okay. All right. I'm going to wipe it down. We'll put it back together. Put a little lube on it. A little bit of our light knife lube that started out gun lube and then got modified and repurposed. So what a cool piece of titanium we got going on here. I better not assume anything. Let me get rid of this collar. Yeah, it's full of oil back there. I mean, literally full of oil. I mean, that's why I take them apart. I mean, I take apart my super high-end knives, and you know what I find? I find a lot of times there's no lube on them at all, or they're over-lubed, or they're dirty. I mean, same thing. It just doesn't matter. I've learned, man. I've taken apart way too many knives to think, oh, I don't got to take this one apart. You know? And I'm making an old comment here, but maybe for the benefit of any new subscribers. Hey, first of all, you know, welcome to the channel, and I appreciate you guys coming along. I did notice, getting sidetracked, I did notice, like, the first one that I noticed, I think, was an obvious female has subscribed to the channel. So welcome to you. A channel that on the surface appears to be man-oriented, but I assure you it is not. It's all about a mindset and having good judgment. And I don't think that's exclusively a male trait, by the way. But for the new subscribers, you know, the best way that I can describe why I take all these knives apart is because they're counted on, you know, a lot like, and not everybody has their knife for self-defense purposes, but many of us do. We carry a pocket knife daily with some self-defense intent. And so the analogy I would use, not getting this knife in and disassembling it and running through it, the materials, the fit and finish, the cleanliness of it, lubing it, taking proper care of it, would be akin to buying a firearm and just taking it out of the box oily, out of the plastic that it's been sitting in for who knows how long, and putting a magazine in it and putting it on your hip in a holster, expecting it to do what you want it to do when you need it to do it. That's the best analogy I could give you. You know, it's like, I mean, I put a knife in my pocket. I am keenly aware of the fact that I have it, and am prepared to put it to use if I have to in a self-defense environment. Not to mention, you know, opening a package or cutting some tape, you know, trying to get in a bag of chips, because you know how hard it can be to do that sometimes. Opening my mail. Well, when I do these things, I want to be confident that it's going to do it. No different than I would do a Glock or a Sig or a Colt, a Taurus, whatever. Yeah. So that's the purpose. It seems like that gets questioned, and, you know, that's probably the most negative comment I get. You know, it's like, oh, boring, you're taking apart another knife. Well, I don't know. Hey, if you don't want to see the knives come apart, you're in the wrong place. That's the best thing I can tell you. There's a lot of places where they'll get calipers out and tell you how thick that is. And you could do that. I mean, some people find it more interesting to find out how thick that is there versus there, and the actual total length of this and the weight of that. I mean, that seems to interest people more. It doesn't interest me in the least. So if that's the content you're looking for, you're just not going to find it here. So hopefully that wasn't a rant, man. I mean, I don't want to rant about it, but I did have to explain that to somebody again recently. Hey, along those lines, just so you know, I guess I'll toss this out too. Like, I have like a zero tolerance. I mean, I'm not warning anybody, because like 99% of everybody that's signed up is on board and, hanging out and gets it. If nothing else, they go, yeah, I don't care about this knife. And they watch, 10 seconds of the video, and then they move on. And I know that because I looked at some statistic that shows the average watch time, and it's not much. And so I attribute that to the same way that I watch videos. I watch a little bit. I may fast forward to a part that I'm looking for or interested in, and then I probably move on. Especially videos that are as long as mine, man. These things can be marathons, because I'm taking knives apart and I'm pontificating. It takes a while to talk. So, but anyways, I think I went down that road because, that's not what I was talking about. I was talking about zero tolerance. So if somebody comes in here, y'all, and they're throwing negative shade right away, just so you know, I don't mess with it. I send them packing, man. I don't respond. I'm not engaging it. I don't really care. I'm not going to get into some social media warfare. It makes no sense to me, because it's meaningless. It means absolutely nothing. Because you can say or do whatever you want on here. You can be as mean as you could possibly want to be, and it means nothing. And so it gives people free license to be rude and not have manners and, and act a fool, because there's no accountability. And so the point that I was making there is that I have zero tolerance for it. So when those comments come, I send them packing. And so, listen, if you want to come after me for something I'm saying or something I'm doing, I think there's been plenty of feedback where people have corrected me, and my response is always the same. Thank you. Because, man, at the end of the day, I'm stupid, basically. And so if I say something, or look at this profile real quick, something that matters. So they did a great job of the profile on this. It doesn't take much to think through and say, man, you can't make that kind of an oval or a circle because there's too much tension. So even making this thing like a rounded triangle, the way they made it, one screw on this is probably going to hold this pretty well without any concerns of future wobbling that, rounding that out in that hole. Yeah, pretty nice. Of course, now I got to fight it on to this deal. There it is. Almost done here. Yeah, so I'll just toss that out because I don't know that y'all would know, because when I see it, when it's brought to my attention, I handle it pretty swift, and there's no negotiations on my side. I'm not bothering with it. Life's too short, man, and and I'm too stupid. I'm not going to bother with that kind of stuff, and I don't think any of y'all are here to read that and put up with that and deal with that. I know I wouldn't be. All right, so I might have went too far on the detent. I will tell you that the drop on this is wonderful. Yeah. So I'm pretty sure I'm going to have a trade-off here. And the trade-off is going to be that action right there for, ready? Oh, it didn't fail. Oh, wow. I could have swore it was going to fail. I mean, I might have that exactly where it needs to be. Yeah, look at that. Wow. yeah, this thing's awesome now. The action on it. And it's solid, rock solid. Completely changed that action, lightening up that detent a little bit. All right, let's get rid of tools, wipe this thing off again. That's the other thing about these anodized knives, is it's not the other thing. It's like my thing. They feel slick to me. I mean, that's not a horrible thing, and this knife may be an example of that, is that in the end, it's not bad. It's got these relief cuts, and I can tell you that it's like jimping. That is really grippy. And if we can get close enough here, yeah, see, you could see it. There is milling running all through that. So it does have like a light, very fine texture. I mean, it's super fine. The micarta is really grippy. It's wonderful. Yeah, and so it adds an element of grip to this knife for sure. Hey, the action, y'all, let me grade that real quick. It's definitely an A now, because I can't fail it, and it's drop shut. I mean, it just, what a remedy. Yeah, and so one of the things I was going to say about the action is the jimping on this flipper tab right here. It's kind of sharp, and so with that harsh detent, it was kind of bitey. It was kind of biting into my finger, but now it's nothing. Wow. Yeah, that's an A for the action, not an A plus. I don't know why I'm being stingy with an A plus, because man, it's pretty good action. Like, it's definitely, out of almost 400 knives that I'm currently running around here, it's definitely in the top 10%. Like, I don't have 40 knives that run better than this for sure. Yeah, that thing runs good. If I was going to make comment about the action, it would be this, is, man, it's easy to catch this lock bar. I can feel it every time I run this knife down and up. Like right here, my fingers are all over it. All over it. All right, ergonomics. So nice relief here for the fingers to lock in behind there. Excellent strong grip to squeeze down and get a secure grip back here. This is, I mean, there's not so confident, there's confident, and very confident. This is over the confident line, and we're approaching upon the very confident side. You know, even wet, if my hand was wet, I think I could maintain this grip, banging around and smacking it and making contact with it, whether it's like this or like this. I think I can maintain this grip. Pretty confident. This right here is kind of sharp. Now, I guess luckily the hand kind of automatically goes around it. Real quick, I've been adding this to knives, especially ones that I think can muster up a self-defense grip, and I do believe anything over that confident could run either as self-defense backup or primary, and I think this one qualifies. And of course, with a glove, it's even nicer in hand with a nice tight leather glove. Yep, pretty nice. Pretty nice. No jimping here, but a little bit of a shelf created on the back of that blade stock. So pretty good. Really confident, really comfortable with a glove on. Yeah, so I dig it. The pocket clip's kind of invisible back there. I can feel it, but it's not horrible. It's not like jumping out at me. Let's check that pocket clip. Start with this thick material. The tip got over it, so I'm pretty confident we're going to be able to do what we need to do. Yeah, run all the way to the very tip. And, I mean, look at that. How's that look sticking out of a pocket? It's kind of extravagant, actually. Nice grip. Standard jean size material back here. Single hand in, single hand out. Pretty good. This is my spot back here. That back right corner towards the front. Stays off my butt when I'm sitting. When I'm sitting, this is actually turns out to be like the rear but side of my hip. Pretty nice. Yeah, I like it. So the clip's good. Let's check it for safety. Yeah, there's a full backspacer. Thanks, TWOSUN. Paying attention, man. I mean, why would we leave the blade exposed? You know, but they didn't. They pinned it, had one pin here, and then attached here, and it covers this whole blade. Nice. Very nice. And then the bottom here, the way the backspacer loops up and comes here, it's protecting that tip. The tip is good, the clip is good, and there's no blade contact through the back, through the spacers in the back. I mean, this thing's, it's checking all the boxes. It really is. Great job. It's hard to criticize. It's down to form and function, man. And function, money. So, yeah, I mean, so much so that I may have to try and take me a run and find the non-anodized titanium version. Yeah, I like it. Does it cut? We're almost done. I don't know. You tell me, y'all. I don't need to cut no more with that, do I? I mean, I went from one end of this blade to the other and basically pushed it through phone book paper. Pretty nice. Okay. Price and availability. So eBay auctions have these running. The color and the non-color are running in live auctions currently, and they've been running for a while. So I would say start there. If you look below in the notes, you'll find a link to DWin99, who's the TWOSUN eBay seller. Outside of that description, I don't know what else they are. I don't know if they're the owner of the company or what. I don't have that information. But I know that that's the page that sells, the site that sells, the store on eBay that sells TWOSUNs. New from the factory. Additionally, White Mountain Knives has the color and the plain titanium version, and they're right up there at like $90. There's a discount code down below for White Mountain Knives, get you 10% off, so it'd bring the price of this knife down to about $80. I bought this at a live auction on eBay for like right at $80. So the difference, had I bought it at White Mountain Knives versus eBay, I would have had it in about 5 days from White Mountain Knives. That's the difference. I didn't really steal this, and it's only because they're pretty popular on eBay. It's hard to get one of these for cheap, and I finally wanted one enough that I set my max price at around $80, and I won it, which I could have taken that same $80 and bought it from White Mountain Knives. So there's a lesson. I know sometimes I post my pricing on these and I feel kind of bad because the price that I got it is so good that if you're not patient and really playing the eBay game, you might, especially if you bought it at, a retailer, you might have paid way more for it. But not this one. I got it for, if you bought it at White Mountain Knives, you paid what I'd pay for it. If you used the discount code. If you didn't, you paid, I don't know, about 11% more than I did. So, anyways, TS426 in N690. I don't know, about $80, eBay or White Mountain Knives. Appreciate you watching.